Hi, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good night. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whether you are a friend, a family member, a stranger, or who knows, a stranger that used to be a friend. My name is Wilby, Maria to some, and welcome to another episode of In My Room. We have a little change here. I cut my hair. It's a new look and it's a look that I'm really liking, and it's the start of a new era. My little bob era. I've been meaning to cut my hair for a long time. Also dyed it back to black. I was tired of the color I did before I decolored my hair. It was like in a blondish color. It was really not the best. I liked it for a little while. It was good. It was a vibe for a little while, and then after I was like, yeah, gotta go. So again, being consistent here, I think it's gonna be 2 or 3 weeks since I last posted. I'm trying to be the most consistent I can be and post as much as I can. Plus school started. It's gonna be a little harder, but I'm gonna do my best. I told my friend today I'm gonna act like this is a job and then I need to get work done, and there's no like procrastinating or anything. Like, this is an actual job and I need to stick to it and be committed to it, just like any other like professional job I would do, because I really do like doing these and I really like getting the feedback, especially from my friends. This makes me want to post more, and the goal is just to not stop. If you retain anything from my past videos, it's just I do not want to stop. The journey I've been on has been really good, has been really rejuvenating, has been really inspiring. I just want to keep going and keep making new changes, pursuing hobbies. I'm entering an era of my life where I'm doing a lot of things at the same time, and I'm very busy all the time, but I'm also really happy and I'm really blessed to have everything that I have. Today's video is kind of going to be in relation with that. We're gonna go deeper into the pursuit of goals, but specifically centering around love, romantic relationships. I think it's something that is a very big topic for women my age, or anybody actually that might be going through this era of growth, being in your mid-20s, being in your 20s in general. It's something that you just keep talking about with your friend, like romantic relationship, people you're seeing, a boyfriend, girlfriend, anticipating marriage, anything like that. I have never been in a relationship before, never dated anyone, never been in anything serious. I've had little things here and there, but there's nobody I would be like, I can call him an ex or he was my boyfriend or anything. The reason why I think it's because I'm very guarded, number one. Number two, I think a really big reason is I feel like I have so much to accomplish, and I feel like getting in a relationship will kind of slow down my process towards accomplishing the things that I want to accomplish. When you're in a relationship, you're sharing your life with someone else, so I would have to share my life with someone, and I would have to be devoted to another person too. So a very big reason of why I haven't been exploring that area of my life in detail. I always feel like I need to be the fullest version of myself in order to get into a relationship. I just need to have my life figured out and have my life established, which I do not have. I don't think anybody has in their 20s. Today's topic is love is an illness to a woman with goals. We're specifically going to be centering on women because I'm a woman, so I think I would give the best perspective on that aspect. Us girls in society have already so much pressure put on us. Relationship, love, and marriage, and anything that is centered around that topic is a very big weight that us women have to carry throughout our life, and especially in these coming of age eras of our life where we're kind of figuring ourselves out and we're starting to be established, we're starting to figure out life, and people are always like, so do you have a man? It's always a topic that comes up. I think a lot of girls will relate to what I'm saying in this video. When you're someone that wants to accomplish a lot, you do think about romantic relationships, and you might be seeing it from an outsider's view and being like, oh, this is so cute, like I would love that. But then after you get into the dating world, go on dates, meet people, all that, and you're just like, I don't fit into that because I'm not a whole person. How could I share myself with another person if I myself is not a whole person? This quote, love is an illness to a woman with goals, it's a quote that I first saw on TikTok, I believe. It resonated with me in such a deep aspect, which is why I wrote it down, and I was just like, have to talk about that because it's something that to my core I feel so connected to that quote, and I understand that quote so incredibly deeply. As a woman with goal, I currently view love as an illness, and not specifically in a bad way, because also I am a huge lover girl. I am the biggest lover girl. When I love someone, I give my 100% all, and I ultimately don't think that you can have goals and pursue someone at the same time. Everybody is different, but as someone that loves wholly and loves fully and gives my all, would truly be something that what we say in French, bâton dans les roues, which means sticks in the wheels. So it would generally just slow me down. It would still keep me going, but slow me down. So starting on the first section, what does the sentence mean to me? Love is an illness to a woman with goals. This sentence means to me that loving someone comes with putting parts of yourself to the side and essentially changing some aspects of yourself in order to make space for the person that you are in love with. Maybe I'm fully wrong about this, and when I get into a relationship it'll be completely different, but I think that I am right to say what I'm saying because I have had little flings. With all of these experiences, I've always felt like I had to change around my life in order to be in alignment with that person, to please that person, to just make it work. Whether it be when we're planning dates with each other, put aside maybe hanging out with my friends in order to be able to spend time with that person, planning to go to a certain event and making sure that I can include that person with me. You have to really make space into your life to also take care of that person, because when you have strong feelings for someone, you want to take care of them, you want to love them, you want to be there for them. So that also comes with putting some of yourself aside. You have to sacrifice some parts of yourself. It's just like any other relationship. I think romantic relationship especially sometimes means leaving some parts of yourself in the past and changing some parts of yourself, because you have to really adapt to one another, and it's both ways. It's only a healthy relationship if the change and the sacrifices are done in both parties of the relationship. And these sacrifices ultimately mean you wouldn't have that space that you would have if you were on your own to fully explore yourself, whether it be your capacities, whether it be your strength, because you have to also think about that other person. You can't only think about yourself. When you're in a relationship, you cannot be selfish. Instead of like going out or pursuing a hobby or working towards something or building something, you would have to put some of that time aside so you can spend time with that other person. It's in no mean that like that person cannot also do these things with you and help you, but ultimately any goal that you want to reach is your goal. As much as that person can try to help, you're the only person that's going to bring you to where you want to be at, because it's your own personal goal. You need to make really big adjustments when you are in love with someone, and which these adjustments essentially are not bad things, but do prevent you from fully exploring yourself and fully getting to know yourself to your full extent. It's really essential to first have your own experience, especially when it comes to objectives. If you haven't reached these things yet, bringing in another party in your life is something that is either going to slow you down, either going to prevent you from reaching these goals, point blank period. When you're in love, when you're in the state of love, especially when we talk about the first 3 months, the honeymoon phases, you have these rose-colored glasses on. It's exciting, it's fiery, you're getting to know this person, spend time with that person, you're attached to that person, and often these stages prevent you from having a proper reasoning. Because when you're in these stages, you do a lot of things that are selfless. You don't really think about yourself anymore. As the love grows stronger, you can still think about you, but that person will be added on too. You will not be thinking the way that you would think if you were single or if that person wasn't in the picture, because you have to change your whole life around in order to fulfill not only your needs, but that person's needs too. These rose-colored glasses are often also what lead some people to get into like toxic relationships or bad relationships, because the first 3 months are very exciting. It's a new feeling. You want to be with that person all the time. You're completely submerged with that person. So you put all of what may be their red flags away to the side. And you also put like stuff that, you know, you were working on or you were planning to change to the side in order to just really be in that really intense feeling, that lovey-dovey, I love you so much, I want to spend my whole life with you, all that. And when the 3 months pass and you actually get to know each other, there's either two sides it could go to. It could either go to you actually start showing each other your real character. You're not trying to act up, you know, the girl, you're wearing a little less makeup, you're dressing a little less well, putting a little less effort, and either you stay in love with that person, or either, well, it goes down and you actually see that you don't really like each other. It's just, you know, the rose-colored glasses that we're on. And that's a lot of time wasted. 3 months is a lot of time wasted. I would not be able to permit myself that. You can do so much in 3 months. 3 months is usually the time that results start showing after you start pursuing something constantly. If you're a girl watching this and you're in a healthy relationship, you might be like, well, I'm in a healthy relationship. It's been a couple of years together. Like, I'm still working towards my goals. My boyfriend is not stopping me from reaching these goals. And I think that this quote especially targets healthy relationships. And I'm talking about relationship in the boyfriend and girlfriend aspect, not in the married fiance aspect. You both have your own separate lives. You're not really sharing that much of a life. Both still very individual. You're both still, you know, dealing with your own finances, dealing with your own, you know, personal, professional life. When you're married, your husband and wife, you've sealed the knot. I think that in that aspect, you can still actually like pursue goals because that person ultimately is not going to leave. When you're in a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship, you don't know if that person's gonna leave or not. You're kind of just always on the edge. You don't know if it's something that's gonna lead to marriage or it's something that's going to go down to a breakup and then heartbreak, which is why, like, as someone with big goals and as someone that wants to accomplish so much in my life, if I get into a relationship with someone, I would have to have that established talk with that significant person to be like, yeah, if we're dating, if we're gonna do this thing, it's going to be for marriage. It's not going to be dating to be boyfriend and girlfriend. It's like, I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for a husband. This quote, I think, ultimately really targets healthy relationships because when you get into a healthy relationship, you get comfortable. It's easy being around that person. It's easy sharing your life with that person. You're not really seeking for anything more. I haven't personally experienced it, but from what I hear from my other girlfriends that have been in relationship for, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, they always say that it kind of just becomes a routine, especially at this age. This is a point of your life. You should not be comfortable whatsoever in your 20s. Your 20s are not meant for you to be comfortable. You have your whole other life. 30s, I mean, even your 30s. I think 40s, 50s, I think actually 50s, 60s are really the stages of your life where you can actually be comfortable, where you can relax and you like enjoy all the lifetime's work you've done. You have kids, you're about to have grandkids and all that. I think that's when you can actually be comfortable. But your 20s are meant for exploring, like exploring everything that you can, whether it be going on solo trips, whether it be meeting people from other ends of the earth, whether it be interacting with strangers, getting out of your comfort zone, seeing different aspects of the world the most that you can alone, especially alone, building your own experiences, figuring out what you like, what you don't like. When you get in a relationship in your 20s, your partner kind of just becomes this little small pillar that you can always rely on. If you're feeling sad feelings, you go to your partner, that partner helps you. It kind of becomes like a coping mechanism. I have this person that also does life with me, so if anything goes bad or if there's anything unexpected, then I'll just resort to that person. It's a good thing to have. I'm not saying anything against it. This quote is not going to be a quote that touches all women. You really have to see life in a different aspect of like, I'm my own person right now. It's only me that's going to bring me to a state that I actually want to be. It's not anybody else. I'm not saying that other help should not be accepted. Romantic relationships is a very big step of your coming of age life. I believe that, especially in these stages of your life, you need to figure you out. You don't need to figure another person out. You need to figure yourself out and then meet that person also in that aspect. You have lived your life, you have had your experiences, and then merge together, seal the knot, and then experience life together and witness each other's life. But before witnessing someone else's life, you need to witness your own life. To love is not just simply a feeling of affection for a person. To love is an action. You have to actively choose that person every day, become a better person for them. And essentially, love is an illness that can keep you away from striving for the things that you hope to reach at a certain time. Now, going on to the other section, which is what does this sentence not mean? As negative as this sentence might be, saying that love is an illness, love is not an illness. I think loving is so incredibly beautiful. This sentence doesn't mean that loving someone prevents you from having goals and achieving these goals. You can have goals when you're in love with someone, and I will continue to have goals when I fall in love. I will continue to have goals when I get into a relationship. The quote says, love is an illness. An illness is something that can either kill you or is something that you can survive from and become stronger. It really depends on the type of person you are, what you're striving for in life, what goals you're working towards reaching. If your goal allows you to bring someone else into your life and to live your life with that person while still working towards that goal, then go ahead. You can actually have that goal and be in love with that certain person. So you don't choose to fall in love, but you do choose to change your life around and to change yourself. If I'm referring to myself personally, my goals do not specifically allow me to fall in love and reach my goals at the same time. It's either one or the other. My goals are very time consuming, that I have to really already make so much sacrifices with myself and be able to regulate what I spend my time on and what I don't spend my time on in order to reach these goals. For example, this YouTube channel, I'm spending a lot of time, and I will also spend a lot of time editing, while knowing that I also have school on the side, work to do for school, also knowing that I have actual jobs on the side, and spend time doing whatever task missions I'm supposed to do at these jobs. Somehow make time for me to edit this video. I have to essentially kind of like pyramid things in my life, that what's most important to what's least important. Like, my friends are making plans to go party, I cannot allow myself to do that. And also because I don't really partake in these things anymore, I will like try to make time for my friends another time. I really need to be strategic and very intentional of how I part my life and the time I give to the different hobbies and goals that I want to reach in my life, in order to really water them every day and to feed them every day. If I were ever to bring another party into my life, they would just come into a huge mess, and I would not be able to give my full self to that person. I want to reach these goals. I want to do this work I'm doing, and I want to do it good. If I had to also be in love with someone, be in a relationship with someone, I would not be able to give my all, because I already have so many other things that I have to put my time in, and I actually rather, in this period of my life, valorize putting time in these things than putting time in romantic love. This quote is not applicable to all women. It really just says for a woman with goals, and especially if these goals mean you already having to separate yourself, don't really allow you to bring another party into your life because your life is not really set and stoned. If essentially you are not seeking a grand life, you do not have all these different hobbies like I am dealing with, if you're okay with sharing your life with a partner, you're okay with letting them take up some space, you are completely free to. If you really love that person, if you're in a stage of your life where you think you can permit yourself that, if you think that you know yourself enough, then I advise you to go all in. I would if I could. I generally would if I could, but I know that I can't permit myself that. If you haven't really had that crucial alone time to really get to know yourself in the best way possible, I highly do not recommend getting into a serious relationship, especially in your teen years. And I recommend, especially for all women, to first figure yourself out, view life with your own lenses before giving your all to someone else. First, be satisfied with yourself. Then, when you feel ready to, and when you feel mature enough to, share that life with someone else. You do whatever you want with your life. I'm not a partaker of casual relationship, boyfriend and girlfriend, you know, we don't really know what we're dating, we're kind of just dating because we like each other. I'm someone that's like, if I'm going to share myself with someone, it's going to be for a bigger purpose, and that purpose is going to be marriage. Being with that person and only that person for the rest of my life. I'm definitely a relationship girl in this way. I hope that my first ever boyfriend is my husband. We'll see where that goes. I'm not someone that takes dating lightly. I've never been. I think it has saved me from a lot of things, but it's also very isolating and very lonely at times. As much as this lonely time might feel sad, I know that it's for a greater purpose, and when I start sharing my life with that significant other, whoever that person might be, I'm going to be so incredibly happy that I had my teen years to figure myself out, to see the world with my own lenses, make mistakes, fall, get back up. Yeah, and I think that we are current modern society, and especially our generation, really put such a big focus on romantic relationships, but platonic relationships are as significant as romantic relationships. It's a different type of love, but essentially a platonic relationship is also something that is so incredibly strong, so fulfilling. My girlfriends, literally girlfriends, my best friends are people that fill out that isolating aspect of never really having been in a relationship. If you're a girlfriend, a best friend watching this, I love you more than anything, and I think I should make a podcast soon on platonic relationships. Now, moving on to why is it important for me to talk about this quote on my podcast? As of today's media-induced society, we constantly consume an idolizing romance with very public relationship from like celebrities, influencers, and overall media presences. I feel like love has lost its meaning and its value. We're currently seeing all these celebrity and media presences get into very public relationships that seem so idolizing. We as especially teens, 20s, all that look up to, we're like, I want my relationship to just be like this. It looks perfect. They found each other so young, and I hope that's me soon. We really put such a big emphasis and such a big concentration on romantic love and finding that person as quick as possible, getting a relationship with them, and doing this all very quick. In the media, I don't think it's really advertised the extent that romantic relationship is advertised, how important and how crucial it is to first find yourself before you get into anything serious with anybody else. Love and desire are now attributed similar characteristics when I believe that they are each other's complete opposite. To desire someone and to love someone is something so incredibly different. You love someone, and I'm talking about real love. You love that person despite their flaws. You accept them for their bad, the things that, you know, another person might not accept, and you keep choosing that person. Desire fades away. Desiring someone is not enough for a relationship, and you kind of just fall in love with the superficial aspect of that person. Going back to the 3 months rule, if ultimately you just desire that person and then you start building a relationship, quote unquote, with that person, it's something that's going to ultimately turn very toxic very soon. You've kind of just put that person on a certain pedestal or a certain standard. That person may not reach that standard compared to when you actually love that person. You have no standard for that person. You really see that person for who they are as themselves without you in the picture, who they are to the world. And that doesn't only come with good things, that also comes with bad things. When you fall in love with a person for actual love, you bring in everything that comes with love, whether it be action, sacrifices, putting yourself apart. But when it comes to desire, it's really something that's just going to eventually fade away. And it's something that I personally have fallen into. Desiring someone and then actually getting to know that person, spending enough time with that person to be like, oh, they are not who I thought they were. I made up a completely different image of them in my head, and I really like the way they made me feel and the way that they look. Besides that, they have no value. So also another reason why I do not permit myself to relationship is because loving someone ultimately comes with the sacrifice of never being able to love again. When you give your full self to someone, whether it be for a couple of years or have that boyfriend and girlfriend dynamic, God forbid things do not go well, you will struggle being able to love someone else. You will have to take so much more time off to fully be able to renew yourself again, because you're never gonna forget that person. I haven't forgotten all of the guys that I've had, you know, my quick flings with. Even as short these small situationships, I'm not even gonna say relationships, lasted, there's still people that I think about daily. When I meet another person, I sometimes subconsciously compare this new person I met to this old person that I was with, and oh, this guy used to do this guy doesn't do that, that's weird. Subconsciously kind of search for that person everywhere. You might not ever be able to love so fully because essentially you're also going to be a little bit scared. After you love someone, it doesn't mean that you can never ever love someone ever again, but you will love differently. You will not love the way that you would have if you hadn't met that person and if it was your first time and you have done things differently. Another reason of why I think it's important important to talk about this quote on my podcast. I feel that idolizing and wanting to be in a relationship as a teen made me chase after boys that, quite frankly, did not bring much to the table. What is a teen boy going to bring to the table? Anyways, I altered myself and I chased after these boys only to compensate the fact that I was lonely. There are things that, as I look back, I wish I never experienced, but I'm actually happy that I experienced these. Like this, I know better and I know what I like. I don't have to wander around like, oh, what is it like to have a dating app and go on dates? Like, I know all that. The little amount I experienced was enough for me to be like, okay, this is not a world that's for me and I do not want to find a partner in this way. You idolize it as a teen, especially as a teen, and I'm not even saying 20s, I'm really saying teens. So it's cool to be in a relationship. You see people in high school in relationships and the little, you know, high school couples. And people are like, oh my god, I want a relationship like them. And I was like, well, I want that too. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be in my room on a Saturday night watching this movie alone. I want to be able to bring a boy in to share these experiences with a boy and to just feel better in my skin. Like, I don't feel great that day, but maybe if I had a boyfriend, he would be, oh, I find you great at all times, or you're beautiful all the time, and to compliment me. So I was going for boys that I think would reach these standards that I had, and I kind of was just giving myself away and giving so much of myself to these boys that did not love me more than I could love myself. I feel like I am so incredibly good alone. I can give myself everything that I want to give myself. I really realized that I'm not someone that needs someone, and if I ever happen to get into a relationship, it's really because that person brings value into my life. At first, it wasn't easy. I would feel really lonely, but really as I'm growing, as I'm maturing, I like this alone time more than anything. Sometimes even thinking about bringing a man into these alone time, it makes me like, oh, why do men exist? But I do know that I will love someone and I will love them fully. That person is going to have a lot of standards to reach, because I have really high standards. Even when it comes friendship wise, I'm really selective or who I let in my inner circle, who I spend time with. You need to be someone that brings a little bit of something in my life. If you don't bring anything in my life, then you have no purpose in my life and you do not belong in my life. I'm really happy that I established that sooner than later, and this didn't come in like my 30s. Now moving on to the final and last topic, which is establishing and answering the question, should you never fall in love if you have goals that you're actively trying to reach? My answer to that question is no. Not at all. I wish for every human being to experience love. I think that the world as itself would just be so much better if everybody just loved each other. It's what makes us more compassionate to things. It's what makes us human. It's what grounds us in the foundation of, I'm going to treat that person as an equal because I love them and I want them to feel love. And then if you receive love, you feel love, so you know how good it feels. You just want to share that with someone. Love is something that's truly contagious, which is also why we see people in relationships and we also want to feel that, because it's a good feeling. It's a release of oxytocin, dopamine, really strong hormones that make us just feel better in ourselves. However, I highly encourage you to seek love once you are in a stable state of your life. Also with that, I think that you can never really be fully stable in your life. Life is constantly moving. I encourage it if you are in an aspect where you can look back at all the things you've done in your life and you're like, okay, I'm ready to actually share this life with someone now. I've gathered enough experiences. I know myself to a degree. Well, I'm not gonna give myself to just a random person because I feel lonely. It is a choice that I'm making to share my life. I personally am an advocate to get into a relationship when you're ready to settle down and build a life with someone. It doesn't have to be like that. Maybe this is not resonating with you, especially in our generation. A lot of kids my age are experiencing themselves getting into multiple different relationships. It's something that I could personally not do. I feel drained, literally drained after situationships, and it takes me months for me to recover. I highly admire you if you can. It can look differently for everybody. When I say being in a stable state of your life, some find stability at 20, some find it at 30, and some may be 40, 50, 60, you know, there's no actual age to fall in love. As long as that you're on this earth, you can fall in love at any time. I think that true love is not something that you go and try to find, it just finds you. Trust that if you are someone that loves fully, that you are going to find someone that loves as wholeheartedly as you do. It's truly something that you do not have to rush. I know that I can naturally fall in love with someone without having to actively try to search for them. It's something that's going to happen spontaneously, something that's going to be beautiful whenever it might come. You really have to be ready to maintain that relationship. You have to be ready to build that relationship, to put yourself to the side, whether it be moving to the other end of the earth for that person. You really have to be able to have that freedom in your life that you're like, okay, I can permit this in my life without this decision having such a big impact in who I may become in the future. If you fall in love when you know that you're not where you want to be in life, if it's actual true love, you care about each other and you do not want each other to make these huge adjustments because you know you're not in a place where you should be making these true adjustments, such as moving at the other end of the earth or moving in together and all that. You both know that you have so much of life to still experience. You will have to let each other go and let each other grow. Come back to build that life together once you've both experienced life alone. If it's really true love, you will find that person again, whatever lifetime that it may be. I truly believe that true love never really separates for too long or goes away for too long. It's also a scenario that can definitely happen. Meeting the person you think is your person, you're both still being very young, haven't really experienced a lot of life alone. Building a relationship is a really big decision. If you're both not ready to make that decision yet, the best thing to do is to let each other grow, let each other experience life, build your own experiences. Eventually, when the time is right, when you've matured a little bit more, when you've lived life a little bit more, you will find each other again and be ready to settle down and build that life together. To end this episode, I wrote down here, I find myself more active in my hobbies and self-exploration when I decenter my life from men. I'm in a point of my life right now where I'm doing so much work, YouTube channel, modeling, all that. I'm trying to balance so much, kind of just going off the grid because there's so many things that I want to accomplish and there's so many things that I know that I have to at least try to work towards. I do not seek men validation in any way whatsoever, which also makes me not want to go out anymore because I feel like every time I used to go out was to, you know, get some guys, meet some guys. Not saying that I'm completely closed off to it. I just find myself so much more active and so much more dedicated in anything that I may be doing. I have so much time in my hand for myself that I'm really just diving deep into my character, who I am, what I like, what I want my future to look like, what I want my present life to look and feel like. A man is not a priority in my life. I do not care for a man, and I know that if I were ever to bring a man in my life, he would have to be up here, and men like that are very rare, especially for guys my age. Either it's going to be a miracle from heaven if I ever get into a relationship soon, or either I see myself 5 years down the line when I'm a bit more established, when I have my own apartment, my own place, all that, completely financially stable on my own, that I would feel ready to bring in another person and yeah, build a family. I really think getting into a relationship with a significant other is to build a family and to build that other aspect of your life. The adult life, the concrete life, the life, you know, that last generation. But before I start building that life, I'm first figuring myself out. Also, not only for me, also for my future husband. I'm doing all this work for my future partner. I want to meet this person in the best state possible for us to first have lived our life and then live our life together and have our ups and downs. And yeah, this episode comes to an end here. I hope that you guys liked it. Whoever woman you are watching this, I thank you so much, and if you're a man, I thank you too. I hope that some of the things I said resonated with you. Talking about this quote is something that's so incredibly important for me because of how strongly I resonate with it and how rare it is to find women in my generation that agree with things that I'm saying. Thank you so much for watching. See you next episode. Let's hope it's very soon. I give you guys a lot of kisses. Bye!